हेलो, दिस इज तनुजा एंड वेलकम अगेन टू माय चैनल। आज हम स्ट्रेट लाइन पे आगे में बात करने वाले हैं। अगर दो स्ट्रेट लाइंस गिवन हैं और उनके स्लोप भी गिवन हैं, तो मैं बेस्ड ऑन दी स्लोप्स क्या ये डिटरमाइन कर सकती हूँ कि ये दोनों लाइंस आपस में पैरेलल है या नहीं। क्या कंडीशन है कि इन दोनों भी लाइन के स्लोप्स को देखकर मैं ये बोल सकती हूँ कि दोनों भी लाइन आपस में पैरेलल है। So line L1 is given, line L2 is given. Okay, as these two lines are parallel to each other, therefore, let L1 line is having the inclination with x-axis as an alpha and the line L2 has an inclination with x-axis as beta. So, let us consider m1 is the slope of line L1 and m2 is the slope of line L2. Then how to say these two lines L1 and L2 are parallel to each other. Here these two lines have the same inclination as they are parallel. Therefore, they have the same inclination with the x-axis. It means that alpha is equal to beta. And as alpha is equal to beta, therefore, tan alpha is equal to tan beta we can write. Now, tan alpha represents the slope of line L1, that is what m1, and the tan beta represents the slope of line L2, that is what m2, and therefore we can replace tan alpha with the m1 and tan beta with the m2, and therefore we can write down the slope of line L1, that is m1, is equal to slope of line L2, that is what m2. If the slope of two lines are equal, then we can say these two lines are parallel to each other. Lines are given, then based on their slopes, how we can say these two lines are perpendicular to each other? What is that condition in terms of slopes based on which we can say these two lines are perpendicular to each other? So let us take the two perpendicular lines on the coordinate plane. So let L1 line and L2 line. So L1 line is making an angle alpha with the x-axis and L2 line is making an angle beta with the x-axis. And both the lines are perpendicular to each other. M1 is slope of line L1 and M2 is the slope of line L2. So from this diagram, can we say from the exterior angle theorem, here theta is equal to alpha plus 90 degree. Therefore, the tan beta is equal to tan alpha plus 90 degree. And we know the tan alpha plus 90 degree is minus cot alpha. How? As we know, tan is what? Sine by cos. And the sine of alpha plus 90 degree is cos alpha, while cos alpha plus 90 degree is equal to minus sine alpha. And therefore, it comes as a minus cot alpha. This minus cot alpha we can write down in terms of tan alpha. It is minus 1 by tan alpha. We know tan beta is what? The slope of line L2, that is M2, and tan alpha is what? The slope of line L1, that is M1. And therefore, in terms of slopes, we can write down this as M2 equal to minus 1 by M1. Here, M1 we can take on the side of M2 and therefore we can write down it as M2 into M1 equal to minus 1. So here we can conclude that if the product of the slope of the two lines is equal to minus 1, then those two lines are perpendicular to each other.